Welcome to the Make It a Better Day podcast, where we explore ways to create positive change in our lives and the world around us. I'm Matthew, and joining me today is my co-host Laura.
Hey everyone! I'm particularly excited about today's episode because we're diving into a topic that's transformed my own life in unexpected ways.
Today we're exploring a fascinating article called Unleashing Love: How Animal Bonds Awaken the Soul. It opens with this profound quote from Anatole France: "Until one has loved an animal, a part of one's soul remains unawakened." Before we dive in, I'd love to hear what made you so excited about this topic.
Well, you know how I adopted my rescue cat Luna last month? Something happened yesterday that perfectly illustrates this article's message. I was having an absolutely terrible day at work. Everything that could go wrong did. When I got home, I just collapsed on the couch, and Luna immediately jumped up, pressed her forehead against mine, and started purring. It was like she knew exactly what I needed.
That's beautiful. How did that moment affect you?
It completely shifted my perspective. All the work stress just melted away. The article talks about animals bypassing our emotional defenses, and that's exactly what happened. Luna got through to me in a way that even my closest friends couldn't in that moment.
The article mentions a really interesting case study about a rescue beagle named Houston. Did you catch that story?
Yes. It's such a powerful example. Here's this timid rescue dog, probably carrying years of trauma, and the article describes the moment his tail first wagged in his new home. It's such a simple gesture, but it represents this incredible journey from fear to trust.
You know what fascinates me about that story? It's not just about the dog's transformation, it's about the human's transformation too. The article dives into some really interesting research about this. Can you share some of those findings?
Absolutely. The Human Animal Bond Research Institute has done extensive studies showing that pet ownership actually creates measurable physiological changes in humans. We're talking lower stress hormones, reduced blood pressure. It's essentially a natural antidepressant. But what's really interesting is that these benefits go way beyond just feeling calmer.
In what way?
Well, the research shows that these relationships actually enhance our emotional intelligence. When you have to tune into another species' needs and communication style, it develops parts of your brain that might otherwise stay dormant. It's like learning a new language, but instead of words, you're learning to read energy, body language, and subtle cues.
That reminds me of Dr. Temple Grandin's story in the article. Her experience really illustrates this concept of different ways of communicating, doesn't it?
Her story is fascinating. Here's someone who says, "I don't think in language, I think in pictures." Animals think in pictures, too. That shared way of experiencing the world led her to revolutionize how we understand and treat animals, especially in livestock handling.
Can you explain more about how her work changed things?
Sure. Before Grandin, most livestock handling facilities were designed from a purely human perspective. She literally got down on her hands and knees to see things from the animal's viewpoint. She noticed things like how shadows, reflections, and subtle changes in flooring could cause stress in animals. Her designs reduced animal stress by up to 50% in some facilities.
That's incredible. It really shows how understanding animals better can lead to practical, positive changes. Speaking of practical approaches, the article outlines 6 specific practices for deepening our bonds with animals. Should we go through those?
Yes. Let's start with mindful observation. They recommend spending 10 minutes daily just watching your pet without distractions. I've been doing this with Luna, and it's amazing what you notice when you really pay attention.
What kinds of things have you observed?
Well, I've noticed that she has different types of purrs, one for when she's content, another for when she wants attention. She also does this tiny head tilt when she's trying to figure something out. But more importantly, I've noticed changes in myself during these observation sessions.
What kind of changes?
I find myself breathing more slowly, feeling more grounded. It's like a form of meditation. The article mentions this connection between mindful observation and reduced anxiety.
Let's talk about the second practice, mutual learning. I love how the article frames this as a two-way street.
Yes. It's not just about teaching your pet tricks, it's about being open to what they can teach you. I've been trying to teach Luna to give high fives, and let me tell you, she's teaching me more about patience than I'm teaching her about high fives.
The article also discusses animal-assisted therapy. This seems particularly important for people who might not be able to have pets of their own.
Absolutely. The research shows that even brief interactions with therapy animals can significantly boost mood and social connectivity. There's a great program at our local hospital where therapy dogs visit patients, and the results have been remarkable.
The fourth practice focuses on creating a sensory-rich environment. How can people implement this?
It's about engaging all the senses. For cats, this might mean having different textures to explore, vertical spaces to climb, or safe plants to smell. For dogs, it could be puzzle toys or different walking routes with new scents to investigate.
The article then talks about interspecies communication. You mentioned earlier how you're learning Luna's different purrs. That's a perfect example, isn't it?
Exactly. And what's fascinating is how these skills transfer to human relationships. When you get better at reading animal body language, you often become more attuned to human nonverbal cues too.
The final practice focuses on eco-friendly pet care. This seems particularly relevant to Make It a Better Day's mission.
Yes, it's about recognizing that our choices as pet owners have environmental impacts. Using biodegradable waste bags, choosing sustainable pet products, even making conscious choices about pet food sources, it all adds up.
The article includes a challenge for readers. Want to share that with our listeners?
It encourages people to step outside their comfort zone, either try a new bonding activity with their pet or, if they don't have one, visit an animal sanctuary or shelter. It's about being present and noticing how these interactions affect us emotionally.
And there's that beautiful Jane Goodall quote at the end, "What you do makes a difference, and you have to decide what kind of difference you want to make." How do you interpret that in the context of this article?
I think it's about recognizing that these bonds with animals aren't just personal, they're gateways to broader positive change. When we develop deeper empathy and understanding through our relationships with animals, it often leads to more conscious, compassionate choices in all areas of life.
Before we wrap up, what's your biggest takeaway from this article?
That these animal bonds are truly transformative. They're not just about having a cute companion, they're about awakening parts of ourselves we might never access otherwise. The article really shows how these relationships can be catalysts for personal growth, emotional healing, and even broader social change.
Well said. To our listeners, if you'd like to explore more content like this, visit Make It a Better Day's website. We also have some wonderful article-themed merchandise in our Redbubble store that celebrates these special bonds we've been discussing.
And remember, today's challenge: take 10 minutes to really observe and connect with an animal. Whether it's your own pet or a bird in your backyard, notice how that interaction affects you. You might just discover a part of your soul awakening.
Thanks for joining us today on the Make It a Better Day podcast.
Until next time, keep making each day a little better for yourself, others, and our animal friends.